Well, let me say this. When I do the Chinese film, I'll try my best not to be as American as I, have been adjusted to for the last 12 years in the States.
Bruce Lee was a force of nature, a man so fast, so strong, and so skilled that even cameras struggled to keep up with him.
Well, when I think of Bruce and use the term fighter versus a tournament player, you have to look at why, and it's mainly because my experience with Bruce was as a fighter, as a street fighter. I was never a tournament player.
Some people say he was too good to be true, but luckily we have the tapes to prove it.
Bruce could beat us all. And I don't mean it would be a struggle. I mean, he could beat us all and we didn't have a chance.
He didn't just fight. He moved with a kind of rhythm and control that made him look almost unreal. But what was the secret behind his ability to break the boundaries of what we thought was humanly possible? How did Bruce Lee manage to turn the impossible into his daily reality? Stick around to find out. The one-inch punch that shocked the world. Bruce Lee was not just a martial artist, but a phenomenon, and there is footage to prove that. It was a regular demonstration, nothing fancy, just Bruce Lee showing a few techniques to a crowd. At a martial arts demonstration in Long Beach, California, Bruce stood in front of a tall, solidly built man. But what happened next made everyone's jaw drop. Bruce placed his fist just 1 inch away from the man's chest. No run-up, no swinging motion, just 1 inch. And then, bam! With one tiny movement, Bruce sent the man flying backward like he'd been hit by a truck. The man flew backward, his feet lifted off the ground, and he landed on a chair several feet behind him.
I got a 1-inch punch that is better than anything you did. And I said, really? I'd like to see that. And he said, got a pillow? And so I stood up, put a pillow in front of me, and hold it, bang, like that. Knocked me into the chair. The chair fell down. I rolled over into the corner with a 1-inch punch.
The crowd gasped. What just happened? This wasn't a movie. It wasn't a trick. It was raw power, focus, and precision packed into a move so quick and small, you'd miss it if you blinked. Some even thought it was fake, until they tried it themselves and couldn't even move a feather with that kind of force. The footage of that moment has been watched millions of times. Experts later tried to explain it. They said it was perfect technique, body control, and explosive power. But honestly, even they looked confused. Because it wasn't just a punch. It was physics bending to Bruce Lee's will. This moment didn't just impress martial artists. It made scientists curious. How could someone so small hit so hard without even stepping forward? And that's the magic of Bruce Lee. He turned a simple punch into a worldwide mystery. The ping-pong fight with nunchucks. It started as a commercial, but it turned into a moment that left the world speechless. Bruce Lee steps into a room, calm, focused. 2 men stand opposite him, holding a ping-pong paddle. The table is ready. But Bruce isn't holding a paddle. He's holding nunchucks. The ball comes flying. In one swift move, Bruce swings the nunchucks. The ball fires back across the table. What happened next looked impossible. The rally goes on. The man serves again and again, and Bruce keeps hitting each shot with wooden sticks meant for combat, not ping-pong. The ball bounces perfectly. He controls the spin, the speed, and even the angle. Not once does he miss. It wasn't just about winning a game, it was about control. Every strike with the nunchucks showed timing, rhythm, and precision. At one point, Bruce adds a trick. He flips the ball into the air and smashes it mid-air without even looking. He doesn't just react. He plays ahead of time. Some viewers thought it was fake or maybe the ad was edited. But the truth is, even if it was staged, Bruce had already proven his skills in real life. His speed and control were so advanced, it made sense that only someone like him could pull off something that sharp, that fast. And here's what blew everyone's mind. It didn't even look like he was trying hard. It was a moment meant to promote a product. But Bruce ended up promoting something else. Pure martial arts genius. The lightning-fast strikes. Bruce Lee's speed was something that most people thought was simply impossible. To watch him in action was to witness the impossible becoming real. Lightning-fast strikes that left his opponents no time to react. That's what Bruce Lee was known for. Bruce had an extraordinary ability to strike faster than the eye could follow. Imagine a blur, a flash, a punch, or a kick that appeared out of nowhere. His movements were so fast that even other martial artists had trouble keeping up. He could throw a punch before his opponent even had a chance to blink. But it wasn't just about speed. Bruce Lee's strikes were calculated and precise. While most fighters would rely on sheer power, Bruce understood that speed was just as important, if not more. His speed wasn't random. It was the result of years of relentless training. He knew how to position his body perfectly so that every strike had maximum speed and accuracy, and the results were jaw-dropping. One of the most famous examples of his speed came during a demonstration for the public. Bruce Lee stood in front of his students, and in one smooth motion delivered a punch so fast that it was invisible to the human eye. A group of martial artists who witnessed it were left speechless. They couldn't believe what they had just seen, and yet they knew it was real. There was no trickery, just Bruce's raw speed. What made it even more impressive was the fact that Bruce Lee's lightning-fast strikes weren't just fast, but effective. In a fight, speed isn't useful unless you can hit your target with precision and power. Bruce Lee's ability to strike faster than most people could process meant that his opponents had no chance to react, leaving them stunned and defeated before they even realized what had happened. The two-finger push-up. The two-finger push-up is another one of those feats that makes people think Bruce Lee was more than just a man. It sounds like something out of a superhero movie, doesn't it? But it was Bruce's reality. Push-ups with just two fingers? Most people can barely do one push-up, and here was Bruce Lee doing them with only two fingers, and not just a few, but multiple. This wasn't just for show. It was a demonstration of Bruce Lee's extreme strength and control over his body. He positioned his body in a perfectly straight line, not sagging, not bent, just a solid plank from his neck to his heels. Then, he slowly lowered himself using only the index and thumb of one hand. No shaking, no wobbling. The ability to perform a push-up on just two fingers required an incredible level of muscle strength, balance, and focus. Why two fingers? Well, Bruce was showing the world that his strength wasn't about sheer size, but about perfecting the way he used his muscles. Bruce's two-finger push-up became a legendary display of his body's power and his training methods. He wasn't just focused on traditional strength training, he focused on functional strength, strength that could be applied directly to combat. These push-ups weren't about looking impressive for the cameras, but about showing the inner workings of Bruce Lee's unmatched physical abilities. He had complete control over his body, and that control allowed him to perform feats that seemed impossible. For anyone who witnessed him do a two-finger push-up, it was an unforgettable sight. How could a person even do this? It left everyone in awe of the discipline and power Bruce Lee had mastered. The coin trick. Bruce Lee wasn't just a martial artist. He was an expert in the art of focus and control. One of the most mind-blowing demonstrations of his abilities came when he showed off his coin trick. A coin trick? From Bruce Lee? Sounds strange, doesn't it? But this was no ordinary trick. This was Bruce's way of showcasing his speed, precision, and perfect hand-eye coordination. The player would hold a coin in one hand, and in a flash, Bruce would snatch it out of the air with the other. How fast was he? It was so fast that the coin appeared to vanish, and people watching couldn't even see the motion. Bruce would perform the trick over and over again, showing that his hands were not just fast, but incredibly precise. This wasn't a magic trick. It was Bruce Lee's way of showing the control and focus he had over his body and mind. It's one thing to do something fast, but it's another to do it with complete accuracy. The coin trick was a perfect example of how Bruce had mastered the art of perfect timing and focus, skills that were key to his martial arts prowess. Bruce would often use tricks like this to test the limits of his abilities. The coin trick wasn't just for entertainment. It was a physical challenge that required the utmost discipline. And for anyone lucky enough to witness it, the experience was mind-blowing. Could anyone else do this? Sure. But Bruce Lee did it with ease. showing once again that his skills were on a level that few could ever hope to reach. The Bruce Lee versus Wong Jack Man fight. Bruce Lee's legendary status wasn't just built on his films or his philosophical ideas, it was also shaped by his real-life confrontations. And perhaps the most talked-about fight in his career wasn't a scripted movie scene. It happened in the late 1960s in San Francisco between Bruce and another skilled martial artist, Wong Jack Man. It all started with a challenge. Wong Jack Man, a kung fu master, had heard about Bruce's unorthodox approach to martial arts. Bruce was teaching his own style, Jeet Kune Do, which combined elements from various disciplines, and that didn't sit well with traditionalists like Wong. Wong felt Bruce's style was disrespectful to traditional kung fu, and after some back and forth, a fight was arranged. The terms were simple. They'd spar, and the winner would prove who was the superior martial artist. The fight took place in a small, private studio with a handful of witnesses present. According to those who were there, it was a tense, charged atmosphere. Bruce, always confident in his skills, was ready to prove that Jeet Kune Do was more than just a blend of techniques. It was a new path in martial arts evolution. The fight itself was brief but intense. Bruce attacked fast and aggressively, while Wong was skilled and defensive. But here's the thing. What happened in that room would have been hard to believe if no one had witnessed it. Bruce Lee lost his temper. After a few exchanges, Bruce realized he was holding back. He wasn't able to fully unleash his speed and power due to Wong's defense, so Bruce made a decision. He wasn't going to play by the rules anymore. In a flash, Bruce shifted gears. He became relentless. The fight turned into a one-sided affair. Within minutes, Wong was on the ground, defeated. But the most shocking part? Bruce didn't stop there. Bruce, by his own admission, was furious. Not because he lost, but because he was forced to hold back in a fight he felt should have been different. This fight was the turning point for Bruce. From that moment on, he knew that martial arts needed to evolve, and he wasn't going to let tradition hold him back. The event left a deep impact on Bruce. He didn't just want to be a great fighter, he wanted to change martial arts forever. And so, he refined his philosophy, turning even more toward his belief that martial arts should be about the individual, not the style. Even years later, Bruce himself described this fight as a lesson in humility and a turning point that shaped his thinking. He knew he could never go back to traditional methods. He had to keep pushing forward. Bruce Lee's moves still shock the world today. Do you know any Bruce Lee feats that weren't mentioned here? Which one blew your mind the most? Let us know in the comments section, where Van Damme takes on the role of Chad Wagner.
In 1991, I spoke with Jean-Claude Van Damme via satellite for the release of his film Double Impact.
After Chad's parents were killed by a crime boss, he lived a peaceful life until he discovered he had a long-lost twin brother, Alex. The two brothers then teamed up to get revenge for their father's death. Both Chad and Alex are played by Van Damme, and their different personalities often cause clashes, leading to a fight between the two brothers. In one scene, after a night of drinking, Alex attacks Chad, and the result is Van Damme fighting against his ultimate opponent himself. This fight required impressive camera work and choreography to make it believable on screen, and it is a true visual delight. Van Damme even had plans for a sequel called Triple Impact, which would have been the only way to get more Van Damme in a movie than Double Impact already does. There's also the iconic kickboxing match against Bolo Yeung in Bloodsport. Van Damme rarely plays the underdog in a fight, but when he faces martial artist Bolo Yeung, it feels like he's struggling against the odds. Van Damme's punches and kicks seem to have no effect, as Yeung remains unshaken. When Van Damme is blinded during the fight, it appears that all hope is lost. However, by recalling his intense training, he manages to turn things around. Bloodsport is packed with impressive fight scenes, but this one stands out because it showcases the full extent of Van Damme's training. With Van Damme still remembered as one of the top action stars today, it raises questions about how he grew into this role, where and when he learned to fight, and how these skills shaped his life.
His movements are so smooth and graceful that it looks very easy to imitate, but that's not it at all.
Van Damme's early life and career. Van Damme was born Jean-Claude Camille François van Varenberg on the 18th of October 1960 in Berchem Saint-Agathe, Brussels, Belgium. His parents were Eliana and Eugene van Varenberg, an accountant and a florist. His father was from Brussels and spoke 2 languages, while his mother was Flemish and spoke Dutch. Van Damme was raised as a Roman Catholic, and his paternal grandmother was Jewish. He began practicing martial arts at the age of 10 when his father enrolled him in a Shotokan karate school. His main styles were Shotokan karate and kickboxing. He earned his black belt in karate by the time he was 18 and became a 2 Dan black belt. To improve his physique, Van Damme started weightlifting, which led to him winning the Mr. Belgium bodybuilding title in 1978. At 16, he took ballet classes for 5 years, viewing ballet as both an art and a challenging sport that prepared him for others. He also practiced taekwondo and Muay Thai. Growing up, he admired actors like Charles Bronson, Bruce Lee, and Sylvester Stallone. At 12, he joined the Centre National de Karate in Belgium under Claude Getz's training, where he trained for 4 years, eventually joining the Belgian karate team. From 1976 to 1980, he had 44 wins and 4 losses in various matches. He was part of the team that won the European Karate Championship on the 26th of December 1979 at La Coupe François Persoon's karate tournament in Brussels, and placed second at the Challenge Coupe des Espoirs karate tournament after defeating 25 opponents, losing in the finals to teammate Angelo Spataro. On the 8th of March 1980, Van Damme faced former teammate Patrick Teugels at the Forest National Arena in Brussels, Belgium, during the undercard for the Dan Macaruso Dominique Valera Professional Karate Association Light Heavyweight World Championship. Teugels had previously defeated Van Damme twice by decision, including for the Belgium Lightweight Championship, although Van Damme had won their earlier match in 1977. Teugels was a favorite, coming off a strong performance at the World Association of Kickboxing Organization's World Championships 4 months prior. Van Damme won the match by TKO in the first round after Teugels was kicked in the nose and could not continue. Van Damme later stated that this fight was his most memorable. Van Damme began his full-contact career in 1977 at the first full-contact karate tournament in Belgium, achieving 18 victories by knockout and just 1 loss by 1982. He had an uncredited role in the 1979 film Woman Between Wolf and Dog, which starred Marie-Christine Barrault and Rutger Hauer. In 1980, he caught the attention of Mike Anderson, the publisher of Professional Karate magazine, and European champion Geert Lemmens, who recognized his rising talent. Van Damme retired from competition in 1982. During his early years, he sold flowers in restaurants and took a loan to open California Gym in 1979, offering karate, dancing, aerobics, and bodybuilding classes. He created special training programs that fostered a lively atmosphere filled with music, and the gym made $15,000 a month at its peak. However, when he decided to sell the gym, his father was upset, worrying that Van Damme was leaving a successful business, a sports car, and a nice apartment to move to America. In 1982, Van Damme and his childhood friend Michel Kisi moved to the United States, hoping to become actors. They took on various jobs to make ends meet. Their first film job was as extras in the hip-hop dance movie Breakin', made by Cannon Films in 1984. In this film, they could be seen dancing in the background during a dance demonstration. Around this time, Van Damme developed a friendship with action movie star Chuck Norris. They began sparring together, and Van Damme worked as a bouncer at a bar called Woody's Wharf, which Norris owned. To earn extra money, he also drove limousines and taught private karate lessons. Van Damme described his early days in the United States as tough. After selling his gym, he had only $2,000 left, which he placed in a European bank, leaving him struggling financially. To keep his spirits up, he went for nightly runs in Santa Monica and then trained at the famous Gold's Gym. Van Damme's big break came with the film Bloodsport, which was released on the 26th of February 1988. This film was based on the supposedly true story of Frank Dux and was made on a budget of $1.5 million by Cannon. In Bloodsport, Van Damme played U.S. Army Captain Frank Dux, who was trained in ninjutsu by Senzo Tanaka and entered the illegal martial arts tournament Kumite in Hong Kong, taking the place of Tanaka's deceased son. The film became a box office success in the United States in the spring of 1988. The producer was looking for a new martial arts star who was charming and appealed to both men and women, and he saw Van Damme as an American hero fighting for justice against bad guys. However, at the time of casting, Van Damme was homeless, sleeping in cars and garages, and often had to steal food to survive.
My grandma took me once a week or once every 2 weeks, and at that time it was Rue Haute, Place de Brouquer, and we chose the movie carefully.
In 1988, he also played a Russian villain in the film Black Eagle, alongside Sho Kosugi. After Bloodsport became successful, Cannon Films offered Van Damme the lead roles in Delta Force 2, American Ninja 3, or Cyborg, a cyberpunk martial arts film directed by Albert Pyun. He chose Cyborg, which premiered in 1989. This low-budget film also did well at the box office and led to 2 sequels, although Van Damme did not appear in them. Cannon also used him in Kickboxer, released the same year. This film was very successful, making over $50 million on a budget of $3 million. It started the Kickboxer franchise. Although Van Damme did not star in any of the 4 sequels, he did return as a different character in the reboot series. In 1990, Van Damme starred in Death Warrant, which was the first script credit for David S. Goyer. That same year, he also starred in Lionheart. Lionheart was directed by Sheldon Lettich, who had co-written Bloodsport. The director said this film showed that Van Damme was more than just a short-lived karate guy in low-budget films. The film included scenes that showcased Van Damme's rear nudity, which became a memorable moment for many viewers. This signature moment became a trademark for him. In the 2000s, he continued to make various films, including the comedy Rejewski vs. Napoleon, UFO, Welcome to the Jungle, Enemies Closer, and Swelter, among many others. Beyond these, Van Damme had a life outside television, and in fact his off-screen persona has really endeared many who loved his kindness and praise him for it. Van Damme's personal life and controversies. In 1997, Frank Dux, the martial artist who inspired Van Damme's character in Bloodsport, sued him for $50,000. Dux claimed he helped co-write and consult on the 1996 film The Quest. The lawsuit accused Van Damme of lying about his martial arts fight record. Dux mentioned that when he trained Van Damme, who was then working as a carpet layer, Van Damme showed a lack of martial arts skills.
I would like you to consult your physician before doing any of those movements in that training with Van Damme.
Van Damme's lawyer stated that there are records showing Dux's martial arts achievements. He pointed out that Van Damme's roles in movies were not just due to acting talent, but also his impressive physical skills, like doing splits without a stunt double. Was this Van Damme's first and last lawsuit? What was his life like before and after this? Stay tuned. The most interesting part is still ahead. Tensions began between Van Damme and bodyguard Chuck Zito when Zito started dating Van Damme's estranged wife, Darcy Lapierre. Zito was reportedly upset about Lapierre's claims in their divorce that Van Damme had abused her. On February 6, 1998, the New York Daily News reported that Zito had punched Van Damme the night before at a strip club in Manhattan. Zito, who had previously worked as Van Damme's bodyguard and did stunts in Nowhere to Run, later wrote in his autobiography that he broke his hand after hitting Van Damme multiple times. This happened after Van Damme made disrespectful comments to a club bouncer, who then told Zito. Following the incident, Van Damme denied that Zito had hit him and challenged Zito to a fight during an appearance on Inside Edition. In October 2011, Van Damme and other celebrities like Hilary Swank, Vanessa Mae, and Seal faced backlash from human rights groups for attending an event in Grozny, Chechnya. This event celebrated the 35th birthday of Chechen President Ramzan Kadyrov.
The president of Chechnya, Ramzan Kadyrov, dances to celebrate the City Day of Grozny, which conveniently has been moved to coincide with the leader's own 35th birthday.
Human rights advocates had urged these stars to skip the event because of the human rights abuses connected to Kadyrov. Human Rights Watch expressed concern, stating that it was inappropriate for celebrities to accept payment to party with someone linked to such serious human rights violations. They felt that participating in a lavish event in Chechnya made light of the suffering experienced by many victims in the region. During the late 1980s and early 1990s, Van Damme became known as a sex symbol through various publicity efforts. Unlike his competitors in the action film genre, such as Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone, Van Damme was named the #1 on the National Enquirer's Top 10 Sexiest Men in the World list, making him the only action star to achieve this recognition. The original Mortal Kombat video game, released in 1992, was initially designed to feature Van Damme. The creators, Ed Boon and John Tobias, had intended to have him as the main character, but that plan fell through due to Van Damme's commitment to another game. Instead, they created a character named Johnny Cage, inspired by Van Damme's look and outfit in Bloodsport. In the German version of the Donkey Kong 64 website, there is a reference to Jean-Claude Van Damme as DK's greatest hero. American professional wrestler Robert Alexander Satkowski received his ring name Rob Van Dam in 1992 from promoter Ron Slinker in Florida. This name was likely chosen because of Satkowski's martial arts background and his resemblance to Van Damme. Regarding his personal life, from 1993 to 1996, the pressure from continuous filming and promoting his movies caused Van Damme to develop a cocaine addiction.
I was addicted to sleeping pills, to be honest with you. I started when I was on Bloodsport, my first movie I was.
He reportedly spent up to $10,000 a week on the drug, using as much as 10 grams daily by 1996. In 1999, he was arrested for driving under the influence. Attempts to enter drug rehabilitation programs did not work, leading him to try quitting cold turkey and using exercise as a way to cope. In 1998, he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. In 2011, he spoke about this condition on the British reality show Behind Closed Doors, explaining that his moods would swing from one extreme to another. He described feeling very sad at times, even when things seemed fine. Van Damme has been married 5 times to 4 different women. Until 1992, he was married to his 3rd wife, bodybuilder Gladys Portugues. They have 2 children together, Christopher, born in 1987, and Bianca Brigitte, born in 1990. He began an affair with actress Darcy Lapierre, whom he married in February 1994. They have a son named Nicholas, born on October 10, 1995. During this marriage, he had a relationship with his Street Fighter co-star Kylie Minogue while they were filming in Thailand. Lapierre, who was pregnant at the time, did not find out about the affair until Van Damme confessed it publicly in 2012. In October 2016, he showed his support for Donald Trump during the presidential election. Earlier that year in March, he suggested that groups like the Illuminati, including the Rockefellers and Rothschilds, might try to prevent Trump from winning. Van Damme was in a long-term relationship for 10 years with model Alina Kaverina, while still married to Gladys Portugues. Kaverina, who was born in Ukraine, received a visit from Van Damme during the Russian invasion of Ukraine, showing his support for her country. Beyond his acting career, Van Damme has backed many conservation efforts and animal rights organizations. He has appeared in several public service announcements for Animals Australia and aims to unite celebrities and fellow actors to create sanctuaries for endangered species. In 2022, he was appointed as the Ambassador for Environment for the Democratic Republic of the Congo, focusing on protecting forests and local wildlife. In 2012, a statue of Van Damme was revealed in Anderlecht, Belgium. This statue shows a younger version of him in one of his fighting poses from the movie Kickboxer and was created to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the Westland shopping complex. The unveiling happened on Boulevard Sylvain Dupuis and was attended by Van Damme, his parents, the Wallonia Brussels culture minister, and nearly 2,000 fans. Van Damme noted that the statue symbolized the dream of a child from Brussels and was dedicated to all children with strong desires, suggesting that strong beliefs can lead to dreams coming true. In 2019, another Van Damme monument was set up in the village of Kabala, Azerbaijan, because of the name similarity. The actor later thanked those involved in a post on his Facebook account. What do you think about Van Damme's life and career? Do you miss him and his incredible stunts on screen? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to check out the next video on your screen. You will enjoy it. We hope you enjoyed watching this video. Remember to like, share it, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.